Good evening. I'm Dan Jennings, and this is your Blue Wave Report for May 20th, 2020. Dateline, Washington. Today, the Health, Equity, and Access Under the Law, or HEAL, for Immigrant Women and Families Act was introduced in the Senate for the first time by Democratic Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. The bill would expand immigrants' access to essential and comprehensive health care. Please call your representative on this. The HEAL Act would remove the 5-year bar that immigrants must wait out before becoming eligible for Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program known as CHIP. It would enable undocumented immigrants to purchase health insurance plans from the online marketplace made available by the Affordable Care Act and also restore Medicaid eligibility for migrants under the Compact of Free Association Migrants. Also today, President Donald Trump lashed out at officials in 2 swing states, Michigan and Nevada, over their moves to make it easier for more voters to cast their ballots by mail ahead of the November election. He threatened to hold up funding to Michigan if, quote, they want to go down this voter fraud path, unquote. States, however, have the legal authority to make changes to their elections, and Republicans have repeatedly opposed federal intervention in the administration of elections by the states. Samuel Bagenstos, and I apologize if I mispronounced that, a professor of constitutional law at the University of Michigan Law School, who has written extensively about federal government's power to impose conditions on states' receipt of federal funds, says the president does not have the authority to unilaterally hold up the federal funding of states. I think this one might go to the courts, but we'll see. Other secretaries of state, including Republicans, have sent absentee ballot applications to all voters ahead of upcoming elections. Among them, West Virginia, Georgia, Iowa, and Nebraska. Yet somehow he doesn't threaten their funding. Only blue states. With Trump's latest tweets, he attacks one key method Republicans have pushed to combat fraud, requiring voters to submit an application before receiving ballots. Republicans argue that ballot applications allow states to clean up their voter rolls or suppress votes before sending ballots to voters. RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel said on a conference call with reporters this week that she didn't have an issue with absentee ballot request forms being sent to voters, but she does oppose ballots being sent directly to voters without request. On to the coronavirus. More than 30 million Americans are newly unemployed due to the pandemic. Paychecks are gone. Their rent, utility, grocery bills, and other expenses, however, still must be paid. Seniors in nursing homes are dying at alarming rates, even if they aren't reported. And hospitals are desperate, as are state and local governments. Americans everywhere need immediate assistance. But Donald Trump has vowed that they will not get any unless Congress bows to his demand to cut Social Security's payroll tax. Payroll tax cuts waste money, delivering the wealthy and powerful the largest cuts while providing nothing to those who need it most. They are slow and inefficient, but they do reduce Social Security's dedicated funding, a long-standing right-wing ideological goal to get rid of Social Security, when in reality, we should remove the cap. Yet Trump now says he'd hold everything hostage. These proposals, as well as immediate assistance targeted to frontline workers, hospitals, and local governments. He insists he will not sign anything unless he gets his tax cut. That's how desperately Trump and the right-wing ideologues surrounding him want to defund Social Security, so they have an excuse down the road to demand cuts to your earned benefits. His actions are a war on seniors, and we need to tell them that every day. He wants to open up the economy, even though COVID-19 is disproportionately costing seniors their lives. And now he insists on threatening Social Security, for which most seniors rely upon for their food, medicine, and other basic necessities. Also today, a group of protesting truck drivers blaring their horns interrupted a White House press conference on May 15th. It's a protest that truck drivers say is over a lack of transparency in how their rates are calculated. Since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, their pay has sunk to unusually low rates. The protesting truck drivers don't believe that everyone in the trucking industry has experienced the same collapse. They say brokers who connect drivers to retailers and manufacturers haven't seen their pay change. There's a shock. The rich get richer, the middle class gets poorer. Many of America's largest brokers have laid off employees since the pandemic struck. The protests are aimed at pushing Trump and Congress to demand further transparency from brokers. Not because they love you, Donald. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham announced this week he wants to subpoena witnesses over the unmasking of Michael Flynn as part of a larger effort to unearth information about the FBI's investigation of Trump campaign officials. Unmasking, however, is a routine practice used to identify U.S. individuals who are referred to an intelligence agency anonymously, and it is meant to help government officials better understand what they are reading. But conservatives have long seized on Flynn's unmasking to imply that he was treated unfairly by U.S. law enforcement and intelligence officials, regardless of Trump's requesting 18,000 times for unmasking. This also precludes the fact that Michael Flynn was never masked to begin with, as per a former senior U.S. official who spoke on condition of anonymity to describe sensitive intelligence. There were no requests for the unmasking of that information. His name was always there. Finally tonight, at least to me, and a bit of good news, Zack Snyder's cut of the 2017 Justice League, properly referred to as the Snyder Cut, apparently does exist, and it'll finally see the light on HBO Max in 2021. Snyder made this announcement on his Vero account Wednesday morning during a virtual Man of Steel watch party. Thank you to the following for information used in tonight's report: healthlaw.org, CNN, Business Insider, MSN, and Comic Book Resources. For the Blue Wave Report, I'm reminding you as always, don't just comment, act. Good night, everybody.